Welcome to Center Heist Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribes down below in your right hand corner. And I want to thank my followers and wish you and your families very Merry Christmas. And I hope you have a wonderful New Year. Lots of blessings and stuff like that. And yeah, please share the video as well to your friends and family and chat groups, whatever. We've had this channel now for 2 years, and we're have a channel that sticks by integral standards as far as we don't tend to run off with rumorville. We stick to discussing what's going on with the Habs and reviewing games and that type of thing. So anyway, if you come across the channel and you're here, please subscribe and hit the likes. We're trying to build this up and build a good community here, and that helps the channel grow. And we're trying to get this to another level, and that would be appreciated. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to just get to discuss, and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. And now we'll get to last night. Montreal was in Columbus. For me, I thought they had to win this game as well before they have that the tough stretch of games with Tampa, Florida, and Vegas. So I thought, because I don't see success coming out of that batch of games. So we unfortunately didn't win this game. We lost 5-4. However, the good sign was at least we've seen improvement in the fact that they fought to the end. Uh, you could definitely tell that Columbus had just a bit of the edge in this game, just a slight bit. But the credit to the Habs, they kept fighting. That was a good thing to see within their game and not quitting like they have in other games. So we'll get to the stats real briefly and talk more. All right, first period, 2-0, and Columbus came out wheeling and dealing right away. That was definitely, they had a strong first period. 2-0, they came out, and then the Habs got their wheels going a bit to make this competitive in the second period, and they scored 3 goals, and Columbus had 1, so they were 3-3 after 2 periods. Then we went into the third period, and it was 2-1 for Columbus. Greaves gets the win. Monty lost, and he just was slightly not as sharp as he was in the 2 prior games, but that's what happens when you don't have a backup goaltender. Game winning with Marchenko. Okay, so let's go. Kirill Marchenko scored at 2:12 left in regulation as the Columbus Blue Jackets beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-4 Monday night for their second straight home win, rallying after blowing a pair of 2 goal leads. Dmitry Voronkov scored twice to extend his point streak to 5 games. Kent Johnson added a goal. Jordan Harris, nice to see him get one. He netted his first goal for Columbus, and Zach Werenski and Sean Monahan each had 3 assists. Monahan had a very strong game. Marchenko also had 2 assists. Those two had very strong games. Graves made 27 saves for the Blue Jackets and snapped a 7-game losing streak against Montreal dating from November 23rd, 2022. So that was that. I don't like the way they picked 3 stars in this. Yes, Marchenko gets a goal, 2 assists, and was a +2 for a star. I have no problem with that. 2 goals for Veronko and a +1, and Monahan 3 goals with a +2. However, I'm starting to notice they seem to give the 3 stars to the winning team, and I'm not buying that. I think you got to pick the actual best players. Like, I'm sorry, for Montreal, Jake Evans really stood out, just bottom dollar. So, I just think that they got to start picking a little better in that area. Yes, those players were half decent, but the opposition had some good players in this game too. So anyway, let's get to the scoring summary. First period, 12:01 or 12:03. Sorry, Dmitry Voronkov assisted by Monahan. That was your first goal. 18:45, Johnson assisted by Werenski and Matthew Olivier at 18:45. That's 2-0. And then the second period hits, and David Savard pinches in, gets a nice goal seeing him I thought him and Jacky had a pretty solid game, um, and moved the puck well. At 2:03, David Savard gets one, assisted by Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. 3:34, Columbus responds fairly quick. Jordan Harris getting his first one, assisted by Marchenko and Monahan. Then the response from Montreal at 7:03, Lane Hudson getting his second goal. And Yuri Slavkovsky and Cole Caulfield assisted that one. Then Jake Evans goes in on the break, assisted by Heineman and Savard. That was a beautiful goal by Evans at 14:26. That tied things up at 3. Then the third period started, and it did not take long. 20 seconds in, Joel Armia scores a nice goal with a nice half spin around by Jake Evans in front of the net, also assisted by Carrier. So Montreal actually went ahead. Things were looking positive, even though it seemed Columbus had a bit of edge. We actually got ahead, and I was hoping we could hold on to it and maybe add on to it. Didn't work out that way, but 3:24, Voronkov ties this thing. It's assisted by Marchenko. Werenski on the power play to a Cole Caulfield penalty. You knew eventually we were going to get bit in the ass on the power plays because Gallagher also got a penalty in that third period, double minor, or a 4-minute penalty, which was bullshit, unsportsmanlike. I could see why Marty was questioning it. I got no problem with um, the other part of it, but the 2-minute, but unsportsman, that was bullshit. Forgive me. 17-14 Chrome, Merchenkov. Marchenko, sorry, assisted by Monahan and Werenski. That's the game winner. Um, we'll go into the stats. Montreal again gets a second game of going over 30 shots. Positive thing. 32-31 in the shot department for Columbus. Hits 18-15 for Columbus. Faceoffs 35-31 for Montreal. Power plays, Columbus has that 1 out of 3, and Montreal was 0 for 2. Couldn't capitalize. And penalty minutes, Montreal 6-4 in that department, and giveaways 17-14 for Montreal. Takeaways were 7-5 for Montreal. Block shots were equal, 15 apiece. And like I said, the Brendan Gallagher 2 minutes for slashing, I had no problem with that, but I had a problem with the unsportsman addition to make that a 4-minute penalty. I'm not very overly impressed with the officiating in the NHL. It's just, to me, it's a big joke. There's so many of these calls that are questionable. Can get for them getting it right, and I also find that's why I'd like to see them go back to 3. That's just me. Find these with the extra ref out there, they get in the way continually. I mean, you've seen one of them get plowed, and rightfully so. If you can't get yourself out of the way of the players, so be it. I'm getting tired of. There's just too many bodies on the ice, and they cause a lot of interference in these situations. So that always has been a peeve of mine. Anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, this was a good game. Unfortunately, you knew Columbus came out smoking hot, and they were really coming on to Lane. So and yeah, he got booed in this game and all that jazz, but he was getting special attention by the players, and yeah, physicality, and we ended up seeing Lane get hurt in this game. Hopefully, it's not serious and a long thing. I'm hoping it was just precautionary. I couldn't figure out what the injury was, other than when he got smoked and hit hard there and went down. I guess it had to have been from that, the way he landed, whether it be the elbow, shoulder, not really sure, but it looked. That's the only thing I can figure because I couldn't see exactly what it was. But that's probably what it is because it's a longer fall for him, the way he went down. Let's hope that's not, that it was just precautionary for him being out of the lineup the rest of the night. And that did make a difference for Montreal's effort to come back and win this thing. So, with that being said, that was Doc had a better game, probably one of his more positive games, at least utilizing his body in front of the net, causing he was close to getting one. He had two cracks at it, but just couldn't raise the puck. But he had a better game. Let's give him credit. Don't. My only problem with Doc is Ben, since all the way through this, that it's him and Newhook that are just driving me bats. At least Slavkovsky has come out of his funk. But these two, for Doc, it's the lack of a second effort, and that's what I would be thrilled. I would be rotating Doc and Newhook and Pizzetta, and I think what screwed Pizzetta was his comments about the tax system in Montreal. And I honestly think that has to be it, because otherwise there's too much leniency being given to Doc and Newhook once again. Whereas I think the way they've played, they've been extremely disappointing this season, those two. So, you ask me, it's just not happy with them right now. And I think it should be a three-player rotation. I think they should have a reset. Those three, those two especially, where we haven't utilized Pizzetta at all. And I know he doesn't have the skill set of those two, but you know what? He brings the least effort and a bit of heart and physicality. It's unfortunate that it seems like they're holding those comments against them. That's the only thing I can figure, because I don't think it's fair what they're doing. Um, and especially when you got two guys that aren't living up to expectations. I mean, like I said with Doc, if he could just put the effort in, he did have an improvement. So I got to commend him. This game was an improvement. So I commend him for that. Newhook, I just see this guy skate purposely. Yeah, you got the speed. That's great that you're fast, but you're useless on the boards. He is so afraid of being hit. That's why I never wanted this trade. Period. I was very upset the day they made the trade for Newhook, and this is exactly why. I just think we overpaid for this guy. I'm sorry, but you can have all the speed you want in the world, but when your speed is not serving the purpose, it's useless. There's got to be utilization of that speed. It has to have a purpose, and I don't see a purpose in this guy's game. Sorry. So that's just the way I see it. So I would absolutely, and I'm trying to figure out why these guys don't have to own up to their bad play at some point. I think resets are necessary for these two. And I think they should be rotated until they earn their position back. And we know Newhook's not a top six, so he should never be injected to the top six. That's my opinion, and I will stand by it. Um, Kirby Doc, you know, again, we know what they're trying to do in him being a top six, and that's fine, but he's got to earn it. And I think that's why those two need to earn it and be rotating with Pizzetta. And until they earn it, they keep rotating those three upstairs. So that being said, that's that. But Doc at least finally showed some improvements. That's a positive. Hope Lane's okay. Happy Merry Christmas to the team, the organization, and all of Habs fans, and especially my fans here, followers of this channel. I wish you nothing but the best for Christmas. But this is going to be a rough stretch because, in my opinion, I know the critics thought we only needed 2 games 4 to 5 points. I think we needed all 3 of these games just to be relevant. I think this was a loss that I just look at it as we could have easily won this game. Monty wasn't as sharp as usual, but when you don't have a backup to turn to, there's got to be a point when the other goaltender gets a shot, and you can't. With Primo, you can't, because you don't. He's useless. So you're stuck with Monty getting overworked. So he didn't look as sharp. But man, this Matheson Hudson thing, these guys are costing a lot of goals against. I do not like the pairing defensively. Well, I don't know what you do, because I honestly, for me, I like Savard and Jackeye together. I think that's working. I think Carrier and Gooley's working. So I think you're kind of stuck for the time being with Matheson and Hudson having to play together. I don't think right now you can. I think it's something you do have to address in it once you have an improvement, somebody added to that right side. Again, that'll be later on. But in the meantime, I don't think there's anything you can do but roll with it. Unfortunately, they're costing us defensively. The two of them are making huge mistakes, trying to be cute, not covering their men. There's just so many defensive collapses between the two of them. Right now. I don't know what's wrong with Matheson. He's uh, he's usually a little better than that. Um, but Hudson, I get it. He's a rookie, but the two of them together, they're so offensive minded. There's just too much cuteness in their game, and they got to get more positional. Because I think you're stuck with that pairing until somebody else arrives on the right side in the future, whether it be Mayu, who I think it will be. I have my question marks about Reinbacher. Sorry, just I don't know. I there's so much out on him. I almost think they blew this guy up to be more than what he is. That's my opinion. Yeah, bad break and everything, but I didn't see him being ready for the NHL anyway. So I'm kind of looking and have my question marks as to is he NHL material? And I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. I know we can't say anything overall, but until one of them arrives on that right side, we're kind of stuck with the situation of Lane and Matheson being together because I don't think you can break the other two pairings up at this point in time because they seem to be the best fits for each other. But with that being said, you got to get a goaltender. You got to get a goaltender because there were times last night where you needed that big save and we just didn't get it. Yes, he had some good saves here and there, but there were still moments where a couple shots. But again, the mismanagement of Hudson and Matheson covering their men, being out of position and coughing up the puck was kind of crucial. That's been the way it's been since these two have been paired. Unfortunately, they bring a lot of great offense to the game, and I respect that. But boy, do they hurt you defensively. So that being said, that is it for this episode. I really, again, wishing you and your families a very Merry Christmas. Thank you to my followers. I really appreciate your support and the Habs fans and Montreal organization and the players. Again, at least last night was a sign of some growth that they didn't quit. I do fear the three games coming up after Christmas. Uh, that's going to be they got a very tough schedule. So let's hope and pray for the best, and let's hope Lane's okay. So, with all that being said, you see it here where the puck drops first here at Center Heist Productions, and we shall catch you in the review of the first game. I forget who they're playing first in that mess. I know it's either Florida or Tampa. Let me see if I can go to it, and that's when we'll be back to review that game. Right, so let's go to there. Everybody's off for a couple days. 26. Okay, let's see. 27th. Nope. We got the Panthers on the 28th. So that's the next review, and we'll catch you then. That's a tough game, and then I think we got Tampa following that. Yes, we do. The very next night on the 29th. Then the 31st, I believe, we got Vegas. That's a tough schedule. So, yeah, until then, again, enjoy your family and your time with your family, and God bless you. I hope nothing but the best, that nothing but blessings come your way. From Center Heist Productions, God bless.